Center. The center is hockey's quarterback, playing both offense and defense with more responsibilities than any forward. Centers take most face-offs, crucial for possession after stoppages. Elite specialists like Patrice Bergeron win over 60% of draws, giving their team a huge advantage. Centers need strong skating, vision, and playmaking ability, often skating deep into the defensive zone to help protect the net. Centers cover the middle of the ice in all three zones. Defensively, they guard the opponent's most dangerous forwards. Offensively, they distribute the puck and create scoring chances for wingers. Sidney Crosby is the perfect example, combining defensive responsibility with offensive skill. Teams build around strong centers, making them the highest paid players. Connor McDavid earns $12.5 million yearly. Centers need exceptional hockey IQ to read plays and make quick decisions, tracking all 9 other skaters constantly. This complete understanding is why many coaches and GMs are former centers. What fans don't realize is how much centers communicate on ice, constantly directing teammates about defensive coverage and offensive opportunities. Left wing. Left wingers play on the center's left side, focusing more on offense than defense. They typically create scoring chances as snipers or power forwards, usually covering the opposing team's right defenseman in the offensive zone. During face-offs, they position along the left boards, ready to battle for loose pucks. These players need a good shot, strong puck handling, and board battle skills. Many top goal scorers like Alex Ovechkin play left wing, with Ovechkin scoring over 800 goals mostly from Ovi's office in the left circle. Left wingers often lead rushes by staying wide as passing options for defensemen. Surprisingly, most left wingers are right-handed shooters, giving them better shooting angles when attacking. The position has evolved significantly. In the 1980s, left wingers rarely crossed to the right side. Today's game features much more movement, with players sometimes shifting to the right side or center position temporarily. The Edmonton Oilers demonstrated how valuable elite left wingers can be, with Zach Hyman scoring 54 goals in 2023-24 despite not being considered a superstar. Right wing. Right wing mirrors left wing but on the opposite side, playing alongside the center with a focus on offense and some defensive duties. They typically stay on the right boards during breakouts as passing options and cover the opposing team's left defenseman in the offensive zone. During power plays, left-handed right wingers often set up on the left side for better one-timer angles. These players need board strength, shooting skills, and offensive creativity. Patrick Kane revolutionized the position with exceptional stick handling and his signature spinorama move. Unlike left wingers, most right wingers shoot left-handed, better protecting the puck when skating down the right side. Right wingers score about 28% of all NHL goals, slightly more than left wingers at 26%. One misconception is that all right wingers are pure scorers. Many, like Mark Stone of Vegas, are defensive specialists who excel at creating turnovers. Stone set the record with 122 takeaways in 2018-19. While right wingers have the least defensive responsibility among forwards, today's game demands complete 200-foot play from all positions. Left defensemen play on the left side when facing the opponent's net, primarily preventing scoring while contributing to offense in the modern game. They typically pair with right defensemen, clearing opponents from the net front, blocking shots, and starting breakouts. They often defend against opposing right wingers, preventing clean shooting opportunities. Most left defensemen shoot left-handed, making quicker forehand plays along the boards. They often take one-timers from the right point on power plays, easier with a left-handed curve. Victor Hedman exemplifies the modern left defenseman, 6 feet 6 inches but mobile enough to join rushes and create offense. They average 22 minutes per game, more than any forward position. The position has changed dramatically. In the 1990s, left defensemen rarely crossed the center red line. Today, they support offense and sometimes lead rushes. Teams like Colorado, with Cale Makar, have redefined what defensemen can contribute offensively. Left defensemen must constantly decide when to pinch into the offensive zone versus staying back to prevent odd man rushes. Right defensemen. Right defensemen protect the right side of the defensive zone, working with left defensemen to shield the goalie and shut down opposing forwards. They clear the crease, block shots from the left side, and make the first breakout pass. They typically defend against opposing left wingers and block one-timer shots during penalty kills. Interestingly, right defensemen are scarcer in the NHL because most players shoot left-handed, making natural right defensemen, right-handed shooters, relatively rare. This scarcity leads to higher salaries, with Drew Doughty earning over $11 million yearly. They often make more backhand plays along the boards, requiring extra skill under forechecking pressure. Right defensemen block more shots than any other position, accounting for 32% of all blocks blocked shots in 2023-24. The position demands immense courage, routinely blocking 100+ miles per hour slap shots. Teams value right defensemen who balance physicality with puck-moving skills, like Charlie McAvoy of Boston, who exemplifies this modern blend of defensive reliability and offensive contribution. Power forward. Power forwards are typically wingers combining size, strength, and scoring ability rather than a traditional position. Standing over 6 feet 2 inches and weighing 210+ pounds, they create space and scoring chances through physical play. They excel at net front battles, screening goalies, and tipping shots. Expected to hit, fight when necessary, and still score 20+ goals yearly, the role became popular in the 1980s-90s with players like Cam Neely and Keith Kuchuk. On power plays, they position directly in front of goalies in the bumper position, redirecting shots and blocking goalie sightlines. Matthew Kuchuk of Florida exemplifies the modern power forward, combining 100+ hits with 35+ goals annually. Fans often don't realize how skilled these players are despite their size. Many have soft hands and vision contradicting their physical image. By the way, if you guys want to subscribe, I'm going to start posting every day. Thanks. TwoWay Forward. Two-way forwards excel at both offense and defense, usually centers, but sometimes wingers. Trusted in all situations, even strength, power play, and penalty killing, they back-check hard, support defensemen, and still produce points. The role requires high hockey IQ, conditioning, and play-reading ability. The Selke Trophy recognizes the best defensive forward, typically won by two-way centers like Patrice Bergeron, 6-time winner. Coaches love these players for their mistake-free execution of game plans. They take crucial defensive zone faceoffs when protecting leads in play in final minutes of close games. Alexander Barkov of Florida exemplifies this role today, winning 57% of faceoffs while scoring at nearly a point-per-game pace. Many don't realize these players often sacrifice personal stats for team success, playing tougher defensive minutes instead of focusing on offense. These players typically lead by example. They're first to backcheck and last to give up on plays. Teams built around strong two-way forwards like Boston with Bergeron or Chicago with Jonathan Toews often win multiple championships. The position demands mental discipline, knowing when to take offensive chances versus making safer plays. This perfect balance makes them hockey's most complete players. Playmaker. Playmakers specialize in setting up goals rather than scoring them, known for vision, passing ability, and creativity. Playing any forward position but typically center, they control game pace and quarterback power plays, finding teammates through lanes most players wouldn't see. Legends like Wayne Gretzky and Connor McDavid can anticipate teammate positions seconds before they arrive. These players accumulate far more assists than goals. Nikita Kucherov recorded 102 assists in 2023-24. They master the saucer pass that rises over sticks and lands flat on teammates' blades, making interception impossible. Playmakers have exceptional peripheral vision for no-look passes that surprise opponents and fans alike. What casual observers miss is the physical toll. Playmakers constantly take hits while waiting that critical extra moment for the perfect pass. Modern playmakers like Leon Draisaitl have adapted to today's faster game by developing lethal shooting to complement their passing, forcing defenders to respect both threats and creating more operating space. The position demands immense patience, knowing when to hold the puck versus moving it quickly. Playmakers process the game differently, seeing developing opportunities others completely miss. Snipers are forwards specializing in scoring goals with accurate, powerful shots. Playing any forward position but typically wing, they need minimal time and space to release shots from anywhere in the offensive zone. Elite snipers like Alex Ovechkin and Austin Matthews consistently score 40+ goals through shot power, accuracy, and quick release. The role requires exceptional hands, hand-eye coordination, and finding open space for teammates to feed them. These players often have signature shooting locations. Ovechkin's one-timer from the left circle and Matthews' quick release from the slot remain nearly unstoppable despite being predictable. What fans don't realize is the practice investment. Snipers often take 500+ daily shots to perfect technique. They typically convert 15 to 20% of shots into goals versus the 9% league average. Modern snipers have adapted as goaltending improved, now using screens more effectively, changing shot angles last second, and looking off goalies with fake shots. The most successful aren't one-dimensional. David Pastrnak of Boston combined 60-goal potential with playmaking and improved defensive awareness, representing the complete modern scoring package. Enforcers primarily protected teammates and intimidated opponents through physical play and fighting. Usually fourth-line forwards or third-pair defensemen with limited ice time but strong locker room presence, they responded when stars faced dirty hits or excessive physicality. The role flourished from the 1970s through early 2000s, with players like Bob Probert, Tia Domi, and Dave Semenko becoming fan favorites despite limited scoring. These players followed an unwritten code, fighting other willing enforcers and defending teammates when necessary. They took pride in their role, impacting games through momentum-changing fights rather than scoring. At their 1980s peak, enforcers could earn $1+ million despite averaging just 5 to 7 minutes of ice time. Most don't realize how tactically smart these players were, knowing exactly when fighting would help versus hurt their team. The enforcer role has largely disappeared due to rule changes, concussion awareness, and increasing emphasis on skill throughout all 4 lines. The last true enforcer era ended around 2012 when teams began requiring tough players to contribute offensively. Modern tough guys like Ryan Reeves must play regular shifts beyond just fighting. The legacy lives on in hockey culture, with many former enforcers becoming beloved broadcasters and ambassadors for the game. Checking forward. Checking forwards specialize in shutting down opponents' top players rather than scoring goals. These defensive specialists use skating, positioning, and hockey intelligence to prevent scoring chances. Typically assigned to shadow stars like Connor McDavid or Austin Matthews throughout games, they're deployed on third lines, often called checking lines. They become crucial in playoffs where neutralizing opponent stars can determine series outcomes. Success for these players means keeping opponents off the score sheet rather than personal points. Players like Philip Deneau have built careers around this defensive ability. In the 2021 playoffs, he shut down both Matthews and Mark Stone while helping Montreal reach the finals. Fans rarely appreciate the extensive film study involved. Checking forwards memorize opponent tendencies to better anticipate their moves. The best checking forwards add some offensive contribution, typically scoring 10 to 15 goals while maintaining high plus-minus ratings. Teams value them enormously during playoffs when games tighten and defense becomes paramount. Their ice time often increases 20% in postseason. The position demands tremendous skating endurance, constantly moving to maintain defensive position without offensive glory as reward. Stay-at-home defensemen. Stay-at-home defensemen focus almost exclusively on defense, rarely joining rushes or contributing offensively. Their primary job: prevent goals, clear the net front, block shots, and make simple, safe plays. Usually bigger players using size and reach to keep opponents from dangerous areas, they provide defensive conscience, often paired with offensive-minded partners they cover for during attacks. Chris Tanev and Scott Mayfield exemplify this role today. These players are evaluated differently. They lead in blocked shots, hits, and penalty kill time while minimizing giveaways. Tanev blocked 152 shots in just 69 games during 2023-24. Casual fans might miss their constant communication on ice, organizing coverage, and warning teammates about developing threats. Many become coaches after retirement due to their deep understanding of defensive systems. The position has adapted to survive in today's faster NHL. Modern stay-at-home defensemen must skate well enough to handle speedy forwards, not just rely on size like in previous eras. They've become experts at subtle interference, slowing opponents just enough without drawing penalties. Despite typically earning less than offensive defensemen, they remain essential to championship success, as demonstrated by Florida's 2023 Cup win with defensemen like Nico Mikkola. Offensive defensemen contribute significantly to scoring while handling defensive responsibilities. Joining rushes, quarterbacking power plays, and possessing forward-like shooting and passing skills, they need exceptional skating, vision, and puck handling. The position has gained importance over the past decade, with players like Cale Makar and Quinn Hughes redefining defensemen's offensive potential. Makar became just the 5th defenseman to score 30-plus goals in 2022-23. These players typically lead teams in ice time, averaging 24 to 27 minutes because they're valuable in all situations. Responsible for zone exits, they start breakouts with clean passes or carry the puck themselves. Teams deploy them in 3-on-3 overtime for their defensive awareness plus offensive creativity. Most fans don't realize how much they practice point shots. Getting pucks through traffic without hitting shin pads requires tremendous accuracy. This position has transformed hockey significantly. Bobby Orr revolutionized the game in the 1970s as the first truly dominant offensive defenseman. Today, nearly every team has at least one playing this style. They take calculated risks, knowing when to pinch offensively versus retreat defensively. The best maintain positive plus-minus despite their aggressive approach, proving they don't sacrifice defense for offense. They've helped make today's NHL faster and higher scoring than previous eras. Goalie. Butterfly style. Butterfly goalies drop to their knees with leg pads flared sideways, covering the net bottom while using glove and blocker for high shots. Patrick Waugh popularized this revolutionary style in the 1980s to 90s. Prioritizing positioning over reaction time, they place their body directly between shooter and net. The approach excels against low shots, deflections, and rebounds. Most modern NHL goalies use butterfly as their primary technique because it consistently covers the most dangerous areas. These goalies need exceptional flexibility, particularly hip mobility, to flare pads wide enough for bottom corner coverage. They wear pads looser and wider than stand-up goalies for maximum coverage when dropping. The style strains hips and knees, often leading to mid-career surgeries. Fans rarely appreciate how technical this approach is. Butterfly goalies use specific movements called T-pushes and shuffles to maintain positioning as plays develop. Equipment innovations have enhanced butterfly effectiveness. Purpose-designed pads with knee rolls and thigh rises make dropping more comfortable and effective. Goalies like Carey Price and Marc-Andre Fleury perfected the modern approach, combining fundamental principles with enough athleticism for spectacular saves when needed. Butterfly goalies typically excel against low shots but remain vulnerable to perfectly placed top cheese shots in upper corners. Goalie, stand-up style. Stand-up goalies remain on their feet as much as possible, using positioning and angles rather than dropping to the ice. Dominant before the 1990s, Hall of Famers like Tony Esposito and Bernie Parent mastered this approach. These goalies rely on size, reaction time, and angle understanding to stop pucks. They use their stick more actively than butterfly goalies, poking loose pucks and disrupting passes. The style excels against breakaways and clean shots, but struggles with deflections and rebounds. Now rare in the NHL, elements of the style still appear in modern hybrids. Stand-up goalies typically play further from their crease, cutting down angles more aggressively. What most fans don't realize, stand-up goalies actually move more during games than butterfly goalies, constantly adjusting with small steps rather than dramatic slides. This constant movement demands tremendous leg strength and endurance throughout a 60-minute game. The decline of pure stand-up goalies coincided with composite stick development and improved shooting techniques. As players shot harder, more accurately, and lifted pucks consistently, staying on your feet became less effective. During the 1980s, NHL teams averaged 3.89 goals per game versus today's 3.15, partly reflecting stand-up goaltending limitations. Despite nearly vanishing professionally, stand-up fundamentals are still taught to youth goalies before they transition to modern techniques. Hybrid goalies combine butterfly and stand-up elements, adapting their technique to each situation. They butterfly for low shots and deflections but stay upright for high shots or when needing quick crease movement. The approach gained popularity in the early 2000s through goalies like Henrik Lundqvist and Ryan Miller. Hybrids must master more techniques than pure butterfly or stand-up goalies, making their position particularly challenging. These goalies typically possess exceptional athletic ability for spectacular saves when perfect positioning fails. They comfortably use various techniques including butterfly, half butterfly, one leg dropped, paddle down, and traditional stand-up saves. Fans might not appreciate the mental processing involved. Hybrids must instantly analyze each shot and select optimal save technique within fractions of a second, separating elite hybrids from average ones. Andrei Vasilevsky exemplifies the modern hybrid, technically sound enough to rely on positioning, but athletic enough for desperation saves when necessary. The style requires more stamina than pure butterfly because hybrids transition more between standing and kneeling. Their equipment represents a compromise. Pads effective enough for butterfly, but not so specialized they hinder standing mobility. This balanced approach has made hybrid style most common among today's elite NHL goalies. Penalty killer. Penalty killers specialize in shorthanded play when teams have players in the penalty box. Preventing goals during opponent power plays, the role demands courage, hockey sense, and defensive positioning. These players willingly block 100+ mile-per-hour shots and disrupt passing lanes with their sticks. Teams deploy their most defensively responsible players in these situations. Elite penalty killers like Mark Stone and Patrice Bergeron even create offensive chances while shorthanded. They organize in different formations based on the situation, commonly the box, 2 forwards high, 2 defensemen low, or diamond, 1 forward high, 2 players middle, 1 defenseman low. They focus on protecting dangerous shooting areas rather than chasing the puck. Many fans don't realize how exhausting penalty killing is. Players often remain on ice 45 to 60 seconds without breaks, compared to normal 30 to 45 second shifts, creating burning legs and lungs while still making critical defensive decisions. Teams with successful penalty kills typically make playoffs, highlighting the role's importance. The top 10 penalty killing teams all qualified for the 2023-24 postseason. Great penalty killers extensively study opposing power plays on video, learning tendencies to better anticipate passes and shots. They master the clear, sending pucks the length of ice when gaining possession, allowing line changes, and burning precious penalty seconds. These seemingly simple plays require perfect execution under immense pressure. Power play specialists excel when their team has man advantages after opponent penalties. With exceptional passing, shooting, and creativity to break down defensive structures, they're often skilled forwards or offensive defensemen who become particularly dangerous with extra time and space. Teams design power plays around their specific skills with set plays to maximize effectiveness. Players like Steven Stamkos built careers around power play dominance with his famous left circle one-timer. These specialists arrange in various formations, most commonly 1-3-1, 1 defenseman high, 3 players across middle, 1 near net, or umbrella, 1 high, 2 middle, 2 low, each player having specific responsibilities. Casual fans might miss the constant communication during power plays. Players call for passes and alert teammates about defensive pressure using pre-established verbal cues, crucial for maintaining the quick puck movement needed to break down penalty killers. Success measures by conversion percentage, with top teams scoring on 25 to 30% of opportunities. Power play goals often change outcomes, accounting for about 20% of all NHL goals. While pure specialists have become less common in today's complete player NHL, some teams still employ players primarily for this role. Defenseman Rasmus Dahlin scored 35 of his 92 points on power plays in 2023-24. The greatest power play specialists combine patience, vision, and execution under pressure. Faceoff Specialist. Faceoff specialists excel at winning draws, occurring about 60 times per game and determining immediate puck possession. Usually centers, they combine perfect technique, timing, and strength to consistently win over 55% of faceoffs, well above the 50% league average. Teams rely on them in crucial situations, particularly defensive zone draws when protecting leads or offensive zone draws on power plays. Players like Patrice Bergeron and Claude Giroux built reputations as elite faceoff men, winning upwards of 60% during their prime. These specialists use different techniques based on situations. Forehand grip provides more power while backhand offers quicker reactions. They adapt based on opponents, face-off location, and whether trying to win forward, backward, or to specific teammates. Fans rarely appreciate the gamesmanship involved. Specialists study opponent tendencies, use subtle movements for advantages, and select specific stick blade patterns to improve winning chances. Officials ejected players from over 5,000 face-offs during 2023-24 for violations, demonstrating these battles' competitiveness. Face-off importance increases dramatically in playoffs when each possession matters more. Teams winning the face-off battle win about 60% of Game 7s. The best specialists combine drawing ability with strong defensive play, making them valuable in all situations. Most teams have multiple players who can take draws if specialists get ejected. The specialized nature has led many teams to employ face-off coaches working specifically on this skill. While analytics debates their exact impact on winning, coaches and players still consider face-offs crucial momentum-swinging moments creating immediate scoring chances. Captain/alternate. Captains wear C on jerseys while alternates wear A, signifying leadership roles rather than playing positions. Captains are the only players officially permitted to discuss calls with referees. They bridge coaches and players, communicating messages and concerns bidirectionally. Teams select them based on work ethic, game understanding, communication skills, and locker room respect. Many teams have leadership groups, including veterans without letters who still provide guidance. Leaders vary in style. Jonathan Toews and Sidney Crosby lead by example through play and preparation, while Mark Messier was more vocal and emotionally inspiring. The position carries tremendous responsibility, with captains facing media scrutiny after losses and answering difficult questions. Fans don't see their behind-the-scenes work, organizing team bonding, mentoring younger players, and addressing internal conflicts before they affect performance. Their influence extends beyond the ice, shaping team culture and standards. The role has evolved throughout NHL history. Early captains were primarily enforcers protecting teammates. Modern captains are typically skilled players embodying team identity. Selection processes vary. Some teams vote, while others have coaches or management decide. Interestingly, NHL rules prohibit goalies from being captains since 1948. Roberto Luongo served as Vancouver's unofficial captain from 2008 to 2010, but couldn't wear the C. Alternates assume captain duties during injuries or ejections. Hockey's greatest leaders like Steve Yzerman, Detroit, and Joe Sakic, Colorado, captained teams for 15-plus seasons, demonstrating the stability and consistency great leadership provides.